DMX just came out with his latest album, Exodus. This album has been in the works for some time now, and unfortunately he passed before he was able to release it. But thankfully everything was done, and Swizz Beatz was close enough to, put the finishing touches on it. With this album, there's been a whole lot of people featured on it, and everyone's pretty interested in all these features, but I think one in particular really stands out, at least for me, and that's on track number 2, Bath Salts, which features Jay Z and Nas. Seeing as this is the first time that we've gotten all 3 of these legends on one single track, it's only right that we go bar for bar and break down these lyrics. If you are new here, this breakdown series is where I literally just go and read out the lyrics to myself and give my interpretations on it. If I miss something or misinterpret anything, feel free to let me know in the comments below, because that helps educate everyone. This track was apparently meant to be on Nas's Life is Good, which came out in 2012, and since then has been shelved. And I think at first it was only Nas and Jadakiss, maybe DMX was on it, but then, eventually, over time, Jadakiss's verse got pushed off, and then Nas's verse got a little reworked, DMX's verse got reworked, and Jay-Z was added to it. But regardless, glad we got it. So we start off the track with Jay-Z's verse.
Hope is the living, Coca-Cola's the sponsor. I run up with your boot. Hope is a monster. Yeah, they like me like that. Every girl I see wanna be wifey like that.
So Jay-Z starts off his verse pretty aggressive, I'd say. And it's interesting to note because this is a bit different from his more recent verses, because they've been very business oriented and very money driven. Here it just seems more like he's just being braggadocious in a different manner. So I'm here for it. It starts off basically just saying Hove is a living legend. He just kind of leaves that part blank. And rightfully so. I mean, everyone knows Jay-Z and everyone acknowledges him as one of the greats. Him saying Coca-Cola is a sponsor could be a couple things. One, it could be referring to that time that he was in Coca-Cola commercials, I believe it was, for like Cherry Coke. But it could also be because if you know Jay-Z's past, Coke was a huge sponsor in his early days. And then he goes on to say, I run up with your boo, Hove is a monster. And then the other 2 lines as well are in relation to that. What I got from that is that he's basically saying, like, yo, I'm gonna run up and just steal your girl. Like, he's just like that. And they like him like that. They could be the women or the guys, because the guys be like, man, can't believe Hove stole my girl. But shoot, Hove stole my girl. But I think it's more like people like him being aggressive in that nature. It may be what he's going at. And then every girl he sees want to be wifey like that. So he's making this assumption that every girl that he passes by when he's already stolen someone else's girl wants to be that girl.
I'm the king of Samunda, king of the summer. Come be my Kardashian, queen of the come up. To be loved, Shakespearean experience. To be us, jumping off boats, hopping off another cliff.
So the King of Zamunda line is just in reference to coming to America. King of the Summer is, I believe, in reference to him, like when he would release albums during the summer, or just in general how artists like him go on tour during the summer and do festivals and stuff. So that's when they get all the money and all the attention. Like, people seek him out during the summer, or he just rules the summer. The whole Queen of the Come Up thing could be just in reference to like how the Kardashians kind of came up out of nowhere. I mean, just off of the whole OJ trial back in the day. Could be something else too. But then when he's saying to be loved Shakespearean, what came to mind was in most Shakespearean plays, or Shakespeare's plays, they're pretty tragic. And seeing as Kim and Kanye recently got divorced, maybe that's what he's referring to. I don't know. It's definitely an option. But also, I mean, in a lot of Shakespeare's plays, I mean, well, more specifically, I guess, Romeo and Juliet, like, it's a love that isn't supposed to happen, and they end up dying or killing themselves to basically deal with it. I don't know if he's going anywhere else with that.
Every 6 months I think I need a new bucket list. Yeah, I think I might need a harem. I'm way too much, y'all should share 'em. I'm feeling like a baron, all I need is a castle.
Every 6 months he needs a new bucket list. So bucket lists are things that you want to accomplish before you die, before you kick the bucket. And he's basically saying he's living such a lavish life. Like in the line prior, he's jumping off boats, hopping off another cliff. Like he's doing all these things that people would typically have on their bucket list, but he's doing them so frequently and so quickly. Like every 6 months he needs a new bucket list because he's done everything on that original list. The line saying, I think I might need a harem. It's likely just in reference to the earlier lines about stealing people's girls and people wanting to be wifey like that. So a harem is, I guess, originally meant to be the section of a household in a Muslim household that is where the women tend to congregate. So he's like, there's so many women around me, I need a place to put them. Maybe. I could also be a little bit wrong there, so let me know there.
Be my Halle Berry, all you need is a catsuit. All I need is heaven, I don't want the hassle. God bless the child that can hold his own.
Halle Berry and catsuit line is in reference to the film Catwoman, where she wore a catsuit. All he needs is heaven, he doesn't need the hassle. He just wants all the good things. He doesn't want to deal with all the nonsense. And then the last line is just, God bless the child that can hold his own. If you can do that, awesome. But also, God bless you when you say achu. This then goes into Nas's verse.
Slow culture, good angel, bad angel sitting on both shoulders. One be trying to gas me, manipulate me, tip me, make me have no soul. So I like to take a tally.
His instincts guide him through this Curtis Blow culture, and that means, I think he's just referencing hip hop in general, because Curtis Blow released The Breaks back in 1980, so really at the early days of hip hop, and that's probably right around the time that Nas was really getting into it as well. So that could be where he's going with that. Good angel, bad angel, sitting on both shoulders. I mean, the angel and devil, here he's saying they're both angels in one way or another. And I tend to agree more towards that rather than just strictly saying that one is good and one is bad. Like they're both good in their own ways, but you kind of have to look at both of them. Also, going back to that Curtis Blow line, I mean, the blow could be Coke culture, but I think less so that. I mean, it could be, but I think that's not where he's going. So the next two lines about don't be trying to gas him, manipulate him, tempt me, make me have no soul, so I like to take a tally. These are the two angels. So they're trying to tempt him, trying to gas him up, trying to manipulate him, and eventually make him have no soul. So instead, like, while he is dealing with these people, or these angels, or, just people in general, really, he's taking a tally. So he's like basically making a pro and con list.
All in favor of the days when the paper wasn't major, but love was abundant. Before the God got the godson upon the stomach. Let these niggas know it was a feeling I would get.
Maybe he's saying he didn't have a whole lot of favors back in the day when he wasn't getting a whole lot of money, or people weren't asking him for favors. Or maybe he's just favoring those days where money wasn't the main concern. But love was abundant. People around you, like when you're coming up, and you're generally unknown, people will tend to support you a little bit more, at least the people around you, because they're like, they believe in you in some way. Later on in life, that may change, because as we've seen with a lot of other people, like the people that they came up with don't necessarily like them as much anymore, to say nicely at least. And this was, again, before the god, Nas, got the God's son tattoo on his stomach. With the next line, let them know there was a feeling I would get. That kind of goes into the whole stomach line, like you get a feeling in your gut, you got a gut feeling. But maybe this feeling was after he got the tattoo, or he got the tattoo because he had a feeling that people would consider him God or God's son.
For music that they will come with hate, start with H, cause the H come after a G. They won't say it face to face, they say it after I leave. After the first night at my place, she asked for the keys.
So that kind of goes into the next line. Let them know there was this feeling in my stomach that I would get from the music that they would come with. And then that goes right into hate, which starts with an H because H comes after a G. Hate comes after, the letter H comes after the letter G, but the hate comes after a G, in this case, Nas. People will come hating because of his position. I thought that was dope. And they won't say it face to face. They won't say it to his face. They always say it behind your back. And even nowadays, it's all online where people think they're safe.
It's my season, Garden of Eden, we Adam and Eve. Now we naked in savage hedonism from a lack of belief. I ain't a pastor, Pastor Lafitte. We ain't in no relationship, but do relationship things.
It's his season, just season in general, which could be going into the Garden of Eden line, but I think it's a little separate. But in the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve were the first two people. Adam was first, and then Eve came from one of the ribs of Adam, I believe. And now they're naked, which, I mean, in the Garden of Eden, they were already naked, but he's referring to them being at his place. And then the line, I ain't a pastor, pastor the fee, that one was a little bit tricky. Like, I was trying to figure out exactly what he said there after I ain't a pastor. To me, it sounds like after the savage hedonism, maybe she wanted to go to confession. But he's like, no, I'm not a pastor. So you can tell me all these things, but I'm going to have to charge you. At least that's what I thought, at least. And then they're not in a relationship, but they do relationship things. I mean, they don't want to put a label on it.
No ring, but she slides through when I ring. Ha, let's put success to the side. I still be this fly if I work the Popeyes. That's a whole lot of spinach, whole game full of gimmicks.
He has not asked her to marry him. He has not given her a ring. But every time he gives her a call, she slides through. And then he's like, now, with all this success aside, I'd still be fly, even if I worked at Popeyes. Like, he just knows that he'd be dope still. And then he goes into the next line saying, that's a whole lot of spinach. Like, because Popeye is known for eating a lot of spinach. And then the whole game is full of gimmicks. Like, there's something that everyone tries to do in hip-hop to get attention or to, I guess, progress their career.
Make a fool out of yourself for a post on academics. We are not the same. I am an alien hovering over your city, shutting down all the stadiums, wiping out everything in my radius. Don't play with us. Y'all ain't made enough.
Make a fool of yourself for a post on academics. Academics, feel about him however you want, but, you know, tends to be more on the drama side of hip-hop, I feel, and has a lot of hot takes every so often. So maybe he's just like, yo, if you make a fool of yourself, you're going to end up on academics, and do you really want to deal with that? It's kind of like, I guess, the Shade Room. Like, you don't want to end up on a Shade Room for acting a fool. We're not the same. I'm an alien. To me, immediately, that sounded like the whole Lil Wayne thing. I'm like his whole I'm a Martian thing. At least that's what it sounded like. But then hovering over your city, shutting down all the stadiums, like he's in a UFO, shutting everything down and just wiping out everything in his radius, which, you know, could be the UFO or just everything around him. And he's just saying, yo, don't play with us. Y'all ain't made enough. Like, he's in a position in his career where he's just made so much, or he's had so much success. Like, you can't touch him. And then we get DMX's verse.
Pop off. We don't blow it up till we blow it up. Cats better slow it up. Y'all niggas know what's up. My niggas throw it up. We all know that. Got niggas missing in action. Where are they at?
When shit pops off, they, like DMX and his crew, they don't blow it up until they blow it up. Like, they don't go in guns blazing right away. Like, you know, they're a little bit more methodical. Cats better slow it up. Like, he's like, yo, y'all need to slow down. Sometimes it doesn't necessarily, like, whatever happens doesn't necessarily warrant things blowing up. Like, you can kind of keep it calm. And then he's like, and you know, matter of fact, like, where is everyone? And maybe he's talking about the people who started things. Like yo, this is all y'all.
See, you niggas never really been stuffed out, but you got enough mouth to get snuffed out. Duke the rough route. We don't play around here, nigga. We grown.
Maybe he's addressing these people who are a little bit more fake or young, let's say. People who haven't been ducked out. Like, they haven't had to duck shots. Like, they haven't really been through it. Like, they're capping. They've got a mouth on them. And this mouth on them is going to get them snuffed out. Like, their lights are going to go out if they keep talking like this. And then he took the rough route, or just in general, they took the rough route. That could be a call out to Rough Riders, maybe.
Start applying pressure, give a dog a bone. I'm taking half, it's just that simple. Or I can start popping niggas like pimples. I'ma let you call it, you ballin'.
Start applying pressure, like DMX and his crew maybe, are applying pressure on these, you know, fakers, basically. Like, they're pushing them and repressing them, basically. And then to kind of subdue the dog, give the dog a bone. You know, like when there's an angry dog like barking at you, like it's probably like chained up somewhere, and it's just like pulling on the chain. But then the second you give it a bone, it calms down. And then DMX is like, I'm taking half. It's just that simple. So whatever operation you got, I'm taking half of it. Or if you disagree, I'm gonna start popping your heads off like pimples. But he's gonna let them call it, because yeah, you ballin'. Like if you if you are in this position, you know what? He's gonna let you decide where to go with this.
Till you get hit with them hot things, now you staggering and falling, holding up the wall. You got more than enough holding you to fall.
He's basically like, well, you are balling until you get hit with them hot things, like the bullets or whatever else they may have. And now you're staggering and falling, holding up the wall, but you got more than enough bullets in you to fall. Like, basically, at this point, you have been shot up. You like Swiss cheese. And it's a miracle that you stand in, because you'll probably fall over if the wall wasn't there.
Oh, you just wasting nigga time. Come on, man. I got shit to do, like hit your crew, might hit your crib. What that bitch gonna do? Not a damn thing, but go with the program.
You're just wasting his time now. Make a decision. He has things to do, like hit the rest of your crew. Like, clearly, not all y'all are here, like he alluded to in the beginning. So he's like, hurry up, because I gotta go get the rest of y'all. And then he's like, shoot, I might even just go to your crib and get at your girl. Like, see what's gonna happen. And that's more of a threat. Like, he knows where you live. Like, you know that whole superhero thing, like where they don't want to know, like they don't want people to know their secret identity because of that exact thing. Like, he already knows it.
Beast on that bitch like Conan, Bonan. I'ma go with no man is ever gone, nigga. When it's all in the song, I'll let you know in the fucking song. I got nothing to hide, but you got a reason to run.
The beast on that bitch like Conan, I'm assuming is like Conan the Barbarian. He's gonna beast out. And he even is like, whoa, that might be a little bit much. let me reel it back a little bit. But also he just kind of keeps going into it. He's like, I'm gonna go where no man has ever gone. Like, he's gonna take it to an extreme. And because when it's on, it's on. And he'll let you know when in a song.
Come through like till the squeezing is done. That's just squeezing one. Imagine if we all let go, turn your whole block into death row.
You know, so the whole reason to run is because they're shooting. And they're gonna keep firing till the squeezing is done. And they're gonna keep coming through until the squeezing is done. And that's just one of them squeezing. Like, imagine if it was their whole crew. Imagine if they all let off. And then, like, if they were to do so, the whole block would turn into death row. So that is the song overall. I really did enjoy it. It's weird because, like I mentioned at the beginning, like, this was originally for Life is Good. And, you know, things were changed clearly. And it seems like they all went back and re-recorded their verses, or at least Nas did. Again, I don't really know if DMX's verse was meant to be on that original track or not, but it does sound like the older DMX that we've been hearing. There's also this kind of vocal effect on everyone's verse that made it kind of sound more gritty. And I think I like that. I'm going to have to listen to it a bunch more to really get a proper idea of how I feel about it. But I think I like that. Like, it made it sound more like it was maybe recorded in the early 2000s or the 90s. Like, it just had that, you know, it was dusty, it was gritty, it was New York sound. But it was dope. I really did enjoy it. I do wish that Jay Z's verse was longer. Not even gonna lie. Because, you know, in comparison, it's the shortest verse. But I also don't know what else he would have said. Maybe if he had gone with a different subject matter, he could have gone longer. Or maybe this was the only slot left in the song. So I don't know those specifics. All I do know is that, unfortunately, they weren't all in the studio at the same time. And Swizz basically just sent the beat back and forth. And again, this was all recorded while X was still around too. So it's not like they're like Jay and Nas are trying to capitalize on his passing or anything like that. This was intentional. This was planned. But Nas' verse was really solid. I actually really did enjoy this verse. And DMX had a really solid verse as well. And he brought the aggression. And everyone had a different topic here. Like Jay Z's was just him kind of flexing like how dope he is and how he can basically get any girl he wants, and how kind of touching on how he's living this luxurious life, but not too much. So I enjoyed that. I like that he kind of reined that in a little bit. Nas's verse, you know, is kind of all over the place a little bit. It's a little bit more like him talking to himself, talking about his past, a little bit about a woman, but really just kind of like, similar to Jay Z's verse in the sense that he's dope, but in a different manner than Jay Z. And then DMX's verse is just kind of different entirely, but I still really enjoyed it. Like his verse is probably what the track was meant to be originally, I feel. Like it was more aggressive because he's basically just going after all the fake rappers or the fake gangsters. And that's dope. I think Nas did touch on that a little bit, but not to the same extent as DMX. But yeah, overall, that was a dope track. I'm very happy that this was a good track. There were obviously concerns, but to be fair, Swizz Beatz seems to have everything under control here. With that said, let me know in the comments below what you thought of this track, and if I missed anything or misinterpreted anything with the lyrics, because that is always a possibility. I will be reviewing this album next week, so make sure you're subscribed for that. And also just remember to like and subscribe if you want to see more content and breakdowns like this. Thank you for watching, and please stay safe out there.